Yeah.
All right, nice and quick. Back in it here. Yeah, going forward, so the first episode definitely took a lot. There's a lot of setup between you and me actually just talking about what it is that we're doing and like kind of personal experiences and stuff. It's going to go quicker now, just in general.
Yeah.
Apparently there's an alarm or something going on over
That would
there.
be a phone call.
Oh, okay. Do you need to take that?
No, it's not my phone call.
Ah, gotcha.
The struggles of working side by side.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we're done the Black Swordsman arc, and now we are almost in the meat and potatoes. We're still not on chapter 1, technically. So we're going to do all the lead up to chapter 1, but this is the big stuff where we actually meet some of the big players, and we're starting off the Golden Age arc, which is started off by the chapter entitled The Golden Age, which is split up into 6, I'm seeing here. Oh, no.
Is it 8?
8.
8, yeah.
Yeah, 8 beginning chapters that are entitled Golden Age. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. And then I guess like if somebody is reading along, just as a heads up, you can like for next week or next time or whatever, we'll be talking chapters 1 to 14, just in case somebody actually wants to follow along and catch up or whatever. Okay, let's talk about the Golden Age.
So the early stuff is like super interesting. I did take a little peek. I haven't started watching the anime again yet or anything, but they definitely like, I think a lot of this stuff is addressed through like flashbacks, if at all.
Okay.
Like little baby Guts fucking being born from a corpse and shit. Like that's addressed, but I think it's much later. And I don't know. I don't think the anime fully addresses Donovan for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it probably shouldn't, to be fair. Yeah.
There might be like an implication, but yeah.
I guess like starting off in something that isn't terrible. It's actually still terrible. We get the origins of his name, and it's literally that there was a baby that was found on the ground by passing by band of mercenaries, and the baby was thought to be dead. One of the ladies or one of the wives or whatever, whores, I guess, that is traveling with them, picks it up and like it's alive, and she starts taking care of it as her own, essentially. It is a fetus that fell out of a pregnant woman that is hanging dead from a tree.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's like, yeah. It's fucking rough, dude.
Yeah. So Guts starts off life in one of the worst possible ways, probably, that you can.
Yeah.
But that's his origin. So that's that for now. And yeah, large majority of the opening of the Golden Age is just basically us learning about his childhood, and there's a bunch of time jumps of when he's a baby. Obviously, like nobody wants him around except the mother or whatever that picks him up. Then there's a time jump and she's like dying from the plague.
Yeah.
And she dies right in front of him. So that's terrible. Then there's another time jump and he's like 6 years old, I think now. I think it's 3 years and then 3 years, something like that.
Something, yeah. I don't know if it gives exact. Oh, no, it does say 3 years later.
Yeah, so
he's 6, yeah.
He's about 6 years old, and this is when he's being taught how to swing a sword, essentially, or fight.
Yeah, he's like helping out. And
mainly he's being beaten by the dad. It's hard to call him a dad. It's the raider who took that whore as his like wife, essentially, or like plaything.
And is like begrudgingly watching over Guts.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's important. He doesn't want to any part of this for sure.
I mean, it's not that bad though. Like, yeah, he's being, it's bad. He's being an asshole and all that stuff. But like, he's still training Guts. He's not like fully stepping out, right? He's just
yes. I think Guts would have been better off not ever knowing him. Like, to live a happy life. Not to be, he becomes like an amazing fighter because he was beaten into having to be that way, essentially. He would have had a better life, maybe dead. Like,
you're not wrong.
He has a real bad time, and it's the type of shit where like he's on the front lines with them at 6 years old, essentially, and like fighting with them, and even if he does okay or whatever, they just like smack him around and just like kick him down. There's like a sword fight where it's kind of cool. It shows like kids Guts holding up a like broadsword for a normal man, but since he's a kid, it's extremely big for him, and it's kind of like the first like, oh, this is how he kind of trained, being able to swing around giant slabs of metal that are way too big.
Like, the people are like, why don't you use a sword your own size? And fucking Gambino is like, we don't keep kids' weapons around here.
Yeah, that's his name, like, Gambino, you're right. And yeah, it's kind of the start of the whole, like, they're sparring, and he gets enraged, and through his rage, he's actually able to, like, get a hit off, and then gets beaten because of it, essentially. Just gets smacked down. Yeah, I don't know. That's, like, the beginning. So that's the beginning of this is going to be bad, and it just gets worse from there. There's like this weird, he does a good job of kind of the Stockholm syndrome thing of, or like, I guess this is like just how domestic abuse victims deal with stuff, or like how things are, where there's like I can't remember the term for it, but after like an abuse or whatever, there's like a cool down period, or like the period of like clarity or something going on with the other person. So right after this happens and Guts is like sleeping with his sword because he's like too afraid to let go of it just in case or whatever, there's like the next panels or whatever shows Gambino like teaching him how to heal his wounds and like be kind of a decent dude to him or whatever. And like there's a bunch of that in this whole series, and it's rough. Like as somebody who like, if you can notice those like telltale signs of like domestic abuse and stuff, it is scarily accurate how it's portrayed in almost every one of Gus's relationships that he has with people. It's fucked. And I guess another important thing, just right from the get-go, this is our first look into what I have been calling Where's Waldo pages, where he likes to depict a giant battle with literal hundreds of like really crudely drawn soldiers because there's too much to give them all detail.
The detail in like the buildings and shit though is crazy.
And like
this first
on 214
like, castle thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
that's what
fucking wild, dude.
It's There's
real so much.
So if you've ever read those, I guess it's Where's Wally in the like European countries, but for us it's Waldo.
Waldo.
Yeah, for us it's Waldo.
It's literally that.
It's literally that with just like a whole bunch of shit going on. Nothing silly though, like those where, oh, that's a dog like carrying a cake on a plate or something. Like nothing like that. It's like, oh, that dude is stabbing another dude with his helmet or something. Yeah. Like really fucked up shit. They are basically like, you can't look at them too long or you will be sucked into the abyss.
Even on 216, the bottom panel where it's just like, it's like close up and there's just still so much going on. It feels like it's hard to look at that. It's like the lines blur into each other.
Yeah, it's weird because I was saying last time how the battles with the demons or whatever are hard to see what's going on because of so many lines and stuff depicting blood and viscera and just fast movement and stuff. These are very clean panels, but they're still hard to read what's going on because there's so much going on in detail. And it's, this is like the first time we're really seeing giant army scale things, and they are rampant for like the rest of at least this arc that I've seen up to now. They're everywhere. I'm still kind of not used to them, but I will say also that he's pretty good at making all of the stuff in the background that's really hard to like see what's going on super unimportant. Like it's soldiers like sitting around or like doing basic sword fights and stuff, and you can really tell who the main characters are, even though they should all look the same. Like Guts has a very telltale, almost like brawler or like training, boxer training helmet that like you can see his hair and his face clearly, where everybody else has like full skull caps and stuff like that. Later on with the other characters, they all have very distinguished looking armor that you can always tell what they're doing. And it's actually really incredible after a while being able to see that stuff properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
even in the camp, like when they're sitting around, like it's just still so much.
Yes. But like if you look here, I think 221 is a good example. Is it 221? It doesn't have a number page on it, but it's opposite 220. So I don't know how my reader does pages.
Okay.
There is an image of young Guts like and doing the fast movement stuff against like a knight or whatever.
Yeah.
But like this is the perfect example, I mean, of you can see every image, like after image of his movement still clearly, and you can see how he's hitting. Like it's just like whoever draws and inks this stuff learned how to do movement properly at this point already, and it's kind of amazing because that is not the way it looked against the demon. Yeah, it's cool.
It's really good, dude. It's one of those things where like you're either going to be completely skimming this shit to like not worry about it too much, or you're going to be like taking 5 minutes per page to go deep on everything.
I am finding myself somewhere in between. When I'm at work, I'm kind of skimming because I don't have a lot of time to be sitting there, but like when I'm at home reading or like on the toilet or something, like I'll sit there and just be like, holy shit, that dude in the background is getting absolutely blasted or like just really digging deep. This is a little less interesting to me, this stuff, because it is just medieval sword fighting.
It's just fucking sword fighting.
Yeah. Some of it's cool, like when he gets mad and then starts cutting people up or whatever, but a lot of it is literally just dudes getting shanked in the back or like getting their arm cut or something. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, the most important thing is that this is the first kind of big battle thing. I think it was important to talk about how those are drawn because we're going to be seeing them a lot.
Yeah, totally.
But back at camp after their win, things seem to be going good because Guts got his first win, first victory and kill against a dude. And everybody's celebrating. He goes up to Gambino and gives him his cut of the gold or whatever. And then one of the worst things happens.
It's fucking bad.
Yeah. Everything seems to be going good. I think the worst part about all of this is that on page 229, before it happens, Guts looks happy for like the first and one of the last times you'll see. He's smiling.
He has that smile, and then it's like never again.
Yeah, so I unfortunately knew exactly what was going to happen here. So yeah, after the happy thing or whatever, it shows him walking off, and this big colored dude, I can't tell if he's supposed to be like black or brown or whatever, because it's black and white or whatever, but he's definitely not Caucasian, calls Gambino over to ask him something. And then the next page and scenes we get are a naked Guts like trying to go to sleep in his bedroom. And I knew immediately what was going on, and it was heart-wrenching to read the next few pages.
Yeah. So so we have the bit on 2:30.
Yeah.
He says, whenever it gets to be this time, I can't stop shaking.
Yeah.
Which like implies that it's something that happens routinely. But he doesn't act like it is. Like, I think it's referring to something else.
I don't think it's routinely. I think he's not comfortable with the night. Because every time we see him, he's sleeping with a sword at the ready. And this is strangely like one of the few times he isn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we see a shadow drawn outside of the tent. And then we see a big, burly, colored man open the tent thing, and we know it's Donovan, and it all makes sense right now that Donovan bought the right to rape the kid from Gambino, and it is fucking horrible.
It's goddamn bad.
Yeah, there's like,
and then
so go on.
Oh, I was just like moving into like volume 4.
Oh wow, volume 4. Okay, I thought you meant chapter 4. I was like, holy shit.
No, but just like how it ends with 3, and it's like,
yeah,
it surpasses implied, but like,
yeah,
it doesn't fucking stop. It's terrible.
So the way volume 3 ends on chapter 1 of the Golden Age is Guts trying to reach for his sword to fight off his rapist and just being held down, and that's where it ends. And that's like, and you think, okay, maybe it's going to cut to like a time skip. And no, like Ben was saying here, chapter 2 starts with Donovan looking really, really fucked up, like over top of him or whatever, holding him down with a rag in his mouth.
Yeah. And then it just doesn't, like, Guts fights back a little to no avail, of course. And just, and then
it goes way too long.
It's so fucking long. And then, like, Donovan tells him that Gambino, we paid Gambino the coins or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we get that, like, the actual fucking panel of it. It's like,
it's so bad. So I was hoping the way this ended was him being thrown out of the mercenary group for killing Donovan here, like before it could happen. But no, he fully gets full on raped.
Yeah,
there's a terrible panel of like his mouth tied up and like his arms held back and just like,
it's real fucking bad.
It like infuriates me. I'm so fucking angry looking at it again.
The part that's real bad, obviously. The one that fucking like gets me is afterwards, where it's just like
him laying there
broken and he's like completely vacant.
Yeah.
It's fucking bad.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. He goes to confront Gambino, and there's kind of like a altercation. Not an altercation necessarily, but he doesn't want to ask because I think he's afraid of what the answer is going to be. So he doesn't, and just takes his rage out on a barrel. And we go back to like war. There's a lot of just like going back to mercenaries and armies fighting each other. But I think this is kind of a cool one. We see Donovan just like killing a bunch of knights or whatever the fuck they're doing in this battle. But then he takes an arrow like from out of nowhere. Yeah, go on.
Oh, just important to note. Actually,
Yeah.
right before Guts shoots him on that panel, Donovan fucking puts an axe through somebody, and on the panel, like, their eyeballs are coming out. Like, it's just blood, and their eyes are just fucking there.
So
shit was wild.
I've found, kind of like re-looking at some of the bigger panels of War, he really, really likes that when somebody's head is hit at all, the eyes come out. That's like his style. But yeah, I guess in volume 4, that's page 23, if somebody wanted to look at that themselves. But yeah, that is definitely his style. That happens. Also, another thing that happens a lot, and I think, it happens here too. They like shooting and swording people through the mouth.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Is
But
there
anyway,
a different way you're supposed to kill somebody?
anyways, Guts uses the opportunity of War basically to kill him. He takes a shot at him, kind of lures him out of the way, and then shoots him again in the mouth, and basically plays with him a little bit while he kills him. And honestly, it felt so good. Oh, it felt so good.
Sword through his skull.
I know I'm not a good person, but I love watching rapists die.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's such like a shitty thing to say, but yeah, it's just
fucking get what you deserve, man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
go on.
I was just gonna like continue. Like he wrecks Donovan fully, and then Gambino gets injured as well.
Yeah, he gets wrecked. He gets his leg cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Which is important because now Gambino is a crotchety old fuck who also can't, like, fight properly, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, he can't do his thing, and it, like, fucking...
It makes him worse, essentially. More abusive. To everybody, not just to the kid, but to everybody.
Yeah. To everybody except his dog. No, you know what? He kicks the dog, too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, no, there's some bad shit going on. This whole chapter, though, is really, besides the stuff we talked about, it's really about, like, watching some of the war stuff. It's really cool. The amount of detail on some of the armor, like on page 34, that armored knight and stuff like that, is just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
So much of the armor designs are so cool. Like, and I mean, we get into it later, where you get, like, more of the, not full-on anime shit, but they get into all, like, the animal stuff.
Yeah.
I love that shit. It looks cool.
Yeah, where we are reading and where I am currently, because I stopped reading for the weekend, they've been doing a lot of nights of the whatever, and it's all animal related, which is great. I love that shit. It's like shitty soccer teams or something, like the whales.
The whales. The fucking,
they're so good. Another nightfall comes, and Guts is attacked, this time by, I'm guessing he's drunk, Gambino. He's like angry and fucked up, but I think he also just wants him dead because he's enraged and drunk of some sort. Yeah. So he like literally has the sword and tries to kill him as he's sleeping. And there's like a whole big thing about how he's bad luck. He lost his arm, he lost his whore, and like everything has gone bad ever since he came here. Which is important because it ends in the best way possible with Guts just fucking murdering him.
Yeah.
But page 52 is so heart-wrenchingly drawn with him crying or tears in his eyes.
Yeah, dude, he's like...
just rejected, right?
This whole time his face, like... I don't know, he's a kid, but he doesn't look kiddie. And then that panel, like, just instantly becomes, like, clearly a child.
Yeah.
Like, a small, broken child. We also get, I think this is the first time he's told directly, like, someone is saying you should have died. Like, you deserve to die. Like, you're cursed, you're bad luck. Like,
yeah.
Life is not yours to have.
Specifically, you should have been dead, and you're bad luck.
And that's I mean, as we see, that's a even from, like, the first section. When
also, like, I don't want you around. And, like, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Like, people super just don't want him and all that. And then we get, that circles back to, like, in the first Black Swordsman stuff where Theresia or whatever is.
Yeah.
Like, saying, I'll kill you. And it's, like, just...
It's really hard. Yeah. You know what else is really hard, but a thing I've loved about this series is that the way a chapter starts, it's a fully shaded scenes for a couple pages, and it's usually picking up, I mean, it's always basically, unless there's a jump, picking up exactly where the last one left off. So we leave off chapter 2 with him kind of striking the death blow against Gambino, and then we just get this, like, really cool, detailed, shaded version of, like, him sliding down the sword and dying on him. It's so fucked up.
God, and the last thing you fucking says is you killed Shisu.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, yeah, Shisu being his mother. I guess we should... never said her name. Yeah. I couldn't remember it. But yes.
It's just fucking rough.
It's really rough. And it goes the way you would think. There's a commotion, so people go to check what's going on. They see that he murdered their leader. They attack him. He attacks back, and he's better than they are. And then in the middle of the night, he has to grab a horse and get out as fast as he can.
Fucking shot.
Yeah.
So after he gets shot, those panels are like
the sky, night sky,
incredible, and also one of the things I noticed that's like fucking important that I did not pick up my first read through.
The night sky ones.
Yeah, like him being in the water and being like, I can't move. It's like it's not my own body, and he's just like staring up, doing that shit. And then
is this going to be spoilery for me?
No.
Okay.
What's the thing he says? Oh, it would have been easier just lie there and die like that. There'd be nothing anymore. But he like gets up and he he kills all the wolves and shit.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's not spoilery, but just like remember this panel because you'll recognize what it's doing.
I don't have the exact page number here because it's not written on the that's 74 to 1.
Mine says 70 to 71 for like the big.
That if like somebody's listening and they have access, just take a moment to enjoy that because that is so good. It's such a fucking good panel. Double panel.
And this whole section, like just with him in the water and the stars around him and stuff, like fuck.
This is so classic anime stuff right here.
Yeah.
It's so good though. This is definitely way better to me than the war stuff. Like this is so good. It's also kind of heart-wrenching because I like wolves. And he fucks a wolf or two up for real. But yeah. Anyways, all this is leading up to the big thing here. And that's where we finally meet up with the Band of Hawks, which is, as somebody who never got into Berserk, really, I knew who the Band of Hawks were.
Yeah. So it does skip. We get another battle, and there's like a big knight, Grey Knight Bazuso.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of important because he comes back over and over, I guess.
And this is where the anime picks up the Golden Age stuff. It starts with this battle.
Yeah, you really don't have to show a lot of the Gambino stuff because that shit is like gnarly in the worst way.
they like do it tidbits in flashbacks and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, so like we have big fucking, I guess, is this 4 years later? So this is 15-year-old Guts. And like,
yeah, this is teenage
strong
Guts.
knight who nobody could fucking defeat. And like, guess what Guts does?
Yeah. Yeah, there's so that good. cool panel on 92, 93 where he's just like, you see the front of him. He has his kind of his styled hockey goalie or lacrosse goalie mask that he has from now on, basically, and just holding the sword. It's so
sword
good.
Is grown. It's great.
It's so good. Yeah. But you're right. This is important because this is kind of the first time we see that he is anime protagonist powerful, like way more powerful than he should be.
Yeah. And his sword is just fucking cutting through the axe and shit, and just through this armor.
Yeah. The eye popping out, page 101 again.
101.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal. I
also,
love it, though.
Speaking of 101, can I just say the anime trope of a dude that is either so enraged or overcome with something that the panel where like his face is black and it's just showing like an evil eye looking out like a silhouette. That's my favorite trope in anime.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. Actually,
it's real good.
Even like the nerdy creepy guy who's all black, like his face is all black, but like you see his glasses white.
That one always kills me. I love it.
Yeah, that shit's great too. I'm a really big fan of obscured faces with like something really sticking out.
Yeah. But yeah, this was like him killing that knight is like where the Band of the Hawk like sees him for the first time.
Oh, okay. So the group that picks him up is not them. I was under the impression they are.
No, he just finds like whatever fucking group
like another mercenary group of some sort.
Yeah, because we get the fucking ironic line of like them saying, "Oh, he's in bad shape. Oh, it's good luck that he found us. He must have good luck." And it's like, fuck. He does not.
You're right.
But yeah, and then because like the Band of the Hawk doesn't really do anything. And I think they just, they see him walking. I'm like skipping through the pages here. They see him walking, and then that's when Corcus is like, I'm going to rob him. That doesn't fucking go well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, you're right, because Griffith watches the battle from up high, as we see on the next chapter on page 109 in Volume 4. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like where we see Griffith for the first time, not in some weird demon form or in a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's right. This the dude, what page is this? Page 109. I guess 111. That face that he's making when he's saying, "I'll pay you 3 times and you can be promoted to squire," or whatever. Just like such a like, I don't know, classic like Spanish like gentleman type face, and like it's hilarious.
Slick back hair, fucking square jaw, little mustache.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's real good. And then Guts like doing the "don't touch me" thing, which is awful. Like at this point now, don't ever touch me.
At this point now, that whole thing makes way more sense, and it's like heart wrenching. Yeah. That just anger in his face. Oh man, it's so good. Speaking of stuff that's good, the most fuckable dude of all time, laying out in a field.
Yeah, man.
Looking at the sky.
Soft hair.
Yeah, soft hair. You're right. This is where he meets the Band of the Hawk, like actually.
And we see Casca for the first time.
Oh man, she's so fuckable too. It's ridiculous.
Easy top anime crush. Manga anime crush.
She has the strongest Chie vibes, and I love it. I guess it would be the other way around because of the time things came out, but yeah, just like the strong tomboy girl.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Big fan.
And just like not sexualized at all, which is dope. She just gets to be a badass.
Yeah, it's interesting because we'll talk about it on the next one, but when there's like a whole little arc with her, she is like topless in some parts or whatever, but it's like they're just tits. Like nothing about it is like sexualized with her. It's just that is what she looks like. Like that's her body. And it's really good. That's some good shit. Yeah, there's another fight here. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through real quick. But yeah, this is a lot of the Band of the Hawk talking about him, and Griffith saying we should get him or whatever. And they kind of watch some robbers that are trying to steal his shit attack him, and he just absolutely murders him. Is this the one where he cuts a horse's head off? No, but he's done that a few times. So, oh, you know what? It might be because this fight is still going longer than I thought. Okay, no, it isn't.
And he's like about to fucking wreck Casca.
Yeah,
that's when Griffith steps in. But yeah, like Griffith steps in, and then they fight.
Yeah,
Griffith is on horseback, so it goes pretty much like most of my Elden Ring fights went.
Yeah, that bad, hey? Yeah. No, it's cool. I really like actually every time the two are squaring off against each other, because I kind of like, I'm a big fan of the giant sword, and then you swing it and cut some like a demon in 3 pieces or whatever. Like, I love that shit. But if you have to go the other way, I think it's super cool to have a character that is like able to deflect and parry your attacks well, and that's like exactly what Griffith is. So these two together is so good to me.
Yeah.
And it is a little interesting that his sword is strong enough that it doesn't take like damage from the giant slab that he has.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just like how you're parrying, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no, I guess like we get this panel where he does fucking just hit it. Well,
yeah, it's hard to tell.
We on page 137.
Yeah.
We get a really great shot of Guts like just fully going at Griffith, and Griffith like blocks it, but
and then like uses the sword to slide, like his sword like down
flat
it.
Edges.
Yeah,
that's good shit.
That is cool shit. And then he like finds the slip in the armor that he's able to stick his sword in. Below
or the same page where that hit is taking place on the bottom left, where Griffith is just like has his arm back and his armor, his eye hole is like completely dark. Oh, it looks so cool. It's so good.
Yeah. I really like the eye hole being completely dark with just like his eye looking out of it.
That
too.
Also is great. Yeah, when they show you the glimpse.
Yeah, it's so good. I still think his armor looks like a shitty superhero, but that's fine.
Yeah, the weird like
little like Griffin armor essentially. This is just the perfect representation though of a strength build versus a dex build, which is really, really cool. Like finding the exact like spot he can actually shank him in the armor and then doing it while riding by, just so fucking cool. But then him just like not being deterred by it and getting back up still.
Dude. Yeah. But then before he could strike, he keels over, just passes out.
Yeah.
Oh, we get classic fuckboy Griffith panel.
Oh,
White
my God.
hair flowing.
Right at the end of the chapter. Yeah, it's so good. At that like last look up where he's staring at him in anger. And
I forgot this ends with like Guts' nightmare. With like fucking the shadow clearly
being Donovan.
Yeah. And
with him naked.
Gambino's like leg, and then his like pulling his head up and shit.
Yeah.
His mom is like crawling there, and her face is on a dog and everything. Like,
yeah, you should have died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, he feels someone touching him, and he's just thinking, don't touch me, over and over, and it's Casca. And he wakes up alone.
Yeah. So, I know this, we find out, isn't sexualized later. The reason why she's doing this is because she was ordered as the woman to do her womanly duty and use her body heat to keep him warm. This is a strangely arousing scene, though. Like, the way it's drawn is very, very... Oh, Casca is, like, hot as fuck, though.
I mean, yeah, it's just...
It's the fact that her leg is up on his leg, covering him.
They gotta cover... Yeah, they gotta cover him somehow, you know?
But that's a very sexualized pose. Anyways, yes, that's what happens, and there's...
I fucking love when he walks out of the tent, though, and she just walks over and punches the fuck out of his wound. It's so good. What a good fucking panel that is.
Yeah, it is a little fucked up that she was sent in here, there, as they say later, to perform a whore's duty or whatever. Or warming a man is a woman's duty, he said.
Yeah, but it is fucking, I mean, again... after she punches him and she says, I wish you died after Griffith was through with you. Ugh.
Yeah. Just another one. Another time.
Yeah, another tally up.
Yeah.
Yeah, warming a man is a woman's duty.
That panel was that panel to me was like, this was written in a time period in a different culture. Cause that is something that even as like in the context it's in would not fly these years here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's fine because this is medieval times we're talking about and this world sucks. So, like...
Yeah. I think in the moment it's a little rough, but in the context of shit that we'll get to, like, way later...
yeah.
It works as, like, part of the stuff that they're tackling with, like, a woman's place.
Role. Yeah, in the world in general.
Yeah.
For sure. That stuff is really cool. That's going to be, I think, 2 episodes from now with the Casca stuff specifically. But yeah, that's good shit for sure. This is a whole lot of bantering and talking and finding out what's going on. Basically, Griffith sees something in Guts. And I mean, we've all seen it. The fact that he is basically unkillable and he just gets more mad and stronger as he takes damage. Like, he's one of the best soldiers ever.
He's just a fucking Saiyan.
Yeah. So, and it all leads up to kind of a sword fight between the two. It leads
up to the most important thing.
Okay.
Something that everybody wishes they could hear, and that's Griffith giving him the fuck eyes and saying, because I realized I want you.
Legitimately, like, that's also something, keep that in the back of your mind, because that is super important as well. Specifically, and obviously we'll talk about this more as we go, Griffith and his ambitions are unstoppable, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 169, that is an important panel, an important thing he said for sure. And it ends up being like, we'll fight, and if you win, then what does he get from winning? He just wants to beat his ass, right?
Yeah, I think he just wants to win. He just wants to have the rematch. We skipped over one thing I noticed that is also worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Griffith here, he's like talking about seeing Guts in the battle, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, if this guy's axe hadn't cracked, like, you would have just been fucking dead. Like, it would have hit you on the head and you would be gone. Mm-hmm. And Guts is like, yeah, probably. And Griffith is like, the way you fight, it's like you're gambling your own life. And it's just like, silence confirms that fact.
Yeah.
Which is a thing we've kind of seen, like Guts just not caring.
Yeah. And that definitely plays a role later in like a tactic Griffith has where, like if you're in a situation where you have to fight, you will fight harder and do better And then he kind of uses that tactic in like a really fucked up gamble later on with his whole army. But yes, you're right. And there's also a cool thing of just like him holding up the sword and being like, I could never wield this thing, and just everybody being impressed with him. Yeah, there's some good banter in here. It's just one of those things that you should read for yourself.
Yeah. And just like God, I fucking love the angles so much. Like Guts and Griffith standing at the bottom of page 173, where he says again, I want you, Guts. And it's just like the clouds, and it's anime as hell, but I fucking love it.
At the top of that page, his smile and stuff. Yeah.
Smile.
It's kind of like, I don't know, like a smug asshole smile.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get our fight.
He calls him a bad word, a slur in my version.
Yeah. Nope, that's
so
accurate.
Guts isn't happy because he thinks he's being made fun of, and also that Griffith is gay or whatever. And he wants him to be his fuckboy, essentially, because the way he's saying it, it kind of sounds like it. He says, like, I want you, Guts. Like, he doesn't say to, like, fight for me or anything. He's like, no, I want you.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes, there's a little bit of anger going on there. There's the Guts holding the sword that's just taking up the whole page, and like other panels are kind of behind it. There's a lot of really cool shit like that in important moments I found in this manga. I guess like I should say, this is my first manga I've ever read. I don't read manga. So I don't know if this is like a thing that a lot of them do, but I found that when there's an important thing, they will take up like the whole page and kind of work around that one thing a lot, which is cool. And they do that here. And yes, you're right. I like how they're drawn on the page after that, where they're in their like ready stance, and Guts definitely is like darker. He's wearing the shirt or whatever, but like heavier lines looks like, and the other Griffith is like almost it's like a quick sketch or something.
It's like his head and hair are just like faded, and Guts is like completely lined through.
It's super cool, and I really like that. Like on the next page, and this is a thing they do often actually, is that Griffith's hair, to show how like fair and light it is, they will color in the background and sky around it rather than give it any line work at all.
Yeah.
And that's so good. it looks so good. Cool. This fight just looks super cool. This is like something that if people are following along, you should look at it.
It's a good sequence.
Yeah. Again, just the whole like giant swings coming from Guts that are very fast, and the sword looks just huge, and then they're being like parried and fast movements and stuff, and yeah, it's super, super cool.
And we get the iconic bit of Griffith standing on his sword at the end to win. Oh,
that is such a iconic thing. I've seen that before, and like again, this is my first foray in here. I can't tell what page it is, but yes, the one specifically where he's holding his sword to his throat as well.
Yeah, 188, 89, and then him moving the sword to Guts' throat is
190. Yeah, okay.
And then Guts fucking bites the sword.
That part is so good. So I was specifically thinking of our friend Hank, and when he gets here, I think he's gonna love this.
This is good, dude.
It's so good. Okay.
And then it's great that afterward, like, that just derails the fight, and they just start beating the shit out of each other with their fists. Just turns into a scuffle.
Yeah, the fact that like he's doing it, but it throws him off his game, but also like he uses his mouth to kind of like hold the sword, like throw it out of his hand. And yes, it turns into just them fist fighting each other. It's good shit.
So good.
There's a good panel on 201 that I was going to pull and put in our Discord chat because it's just great. It's Guts against the ground, just like scowling in this evil, like Grimace saying asshole.
Dude, it's real good.
Yeah.
But when Griffith is like, you can concede or I will dislocate your shoulder. What's it going to be? Asshole. Yeah. And then he just cracks it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's such good shit.
Then him touching his forehead. You belong to me.
Yeah, that actually, as you were saying that, I scrolled to it. I was like, yep. And his eyes just looking like he's entranced in the bottom of that page as well. I don't know. It's a super cool scene because obviously it started off with them being as enemies, but that whole time Guts, like, you can see by the end, Guts is kind of like impressed and entranced by him. Yeah. Like, in a way that he wasn't before, probably due to the fact that it was like a tough fight and Guts doesn't like weak people, as we've seen.
Yeah. And we also get our first bits of Casca here being like, Griffith has never said, I want you to anybody ever.
Yeah. Being like super catty, honestly. But well, I mean,
she just wants a piece of that Griffith ass.
Who doesn't? I don't blame her. Yeah, I don't blame her. We do find out like a little bit later, it's definitely not like a love thing necessarily as much as a respect thing. But yes, everybody should want Griffith's ass. Anyways, there's a great scene of this is, I think they're talking about, they're going to have a thing where they take over the castle or whatever the next day, or that's why he wants Guts, right? As like, because, or like part of it.
He recognizes like how, I mean, like for that specific thing, but then also just in general, like,
yeah,
it's almost, we don't get this impression from any of the other like Band of the Hawk members.
Yeah.
But it feels like Griffith like sees something that is the best of the best. In this case, people. Like the best swordsman. And he's like, I need that person on my team.
Yes. Well, it sounds like he sees that in people in general, but you're right. We don't get, none of them are protagonists, though. They're all just kind of like the strong pawns or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Where these are the protagonists here.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a cool overhead scene of the camp, like outside of the, like in the forest or whatever, from their target that they're going to be attacking the next day. And this is where like the tactics part comes in with Griffith being a master tactician. He wants Guts to form the raiding party that will be covering their fallback from the river, or whatever, while they attack head on, which everybody's like, it's suicide or whatever, but they're like, nah, they're not going to expect us to just run right through the middle of their camp and destroy it. And like, sure enough, it works.
Yeah, so it's like Guts' chance to prove himself.
Yeah.
And that's even like, I mean, this gets into the next volume. Even.
Yes.
For like this battle is quite a long one.
This battle is the rest of this chapter that we're going to be talking about. It's an important one.
Yeah, I'm kind of skipping ahead here.
This is the battle that solidified. So nobody actually wants him in the Band of Hawks except Griffith, because he killed some of their members that tried to rob him, and they hate him or whatever, and they think he's like bad news. This is kind of his introduction into the group, in that he could have ran away and like just not done anything, and they could have all been murdered or whatever with somebody not there. But not only was he there, but he like soloed the whole fucking army essentially.
Yeah,
like he becomes a hero overnight. It's a super important chapter.
And I mean that chapter, then the next, which just like is a direct like the night after, where he is like just chilling on his own, and then kind of gets the first inklings that this is like not just a fucking mercenary band. Like there's more camaraderie here, and
the fact that they're led by somebody with actual ambition to be more.
Yeah, like they have a higher purpose, even if for most of them it's like following this dude, but it's still like more of a group instead of just like we're in it for cash.
It's super hard to talk about in a podcast or a thing, because a lot of this really is, so the fight is all visual stuff and just cool shit going on, and then after it's a bunch of characters talking to each other and getting kind of character building moments between all of them.
Figuring out who's who.
Yeah, the gist of it is that Guts is finally kind of welcomed into the group and given like a drink or whatever, and they're all kind of having like telling their war stories. We see Casca kind of watching from above, not wanting to be part of it. And then like he's kind of sleeping by himself with his sword because he's not fully into the idea of being around a lot of people. It's all character building shit for a while here until we get to
the most important scene in the entire manga.
Yeah, you knew where I was going. All right. Page 52 and 53. Starting with
Griffith ass.
That Griffith ass, and then like the most homoerotic water fight. Like, man. Just, I have to say, page 54 has one of my favorite panels of Griffith just being hit with water and looking like a complete moron.
Yeah. Dude, they draw Griffith so fucking effeminate throughout this sequence.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't know and they weren't showing like his chest, he literally just looks like a chick. Like, there's no distinction at all.
Totally. Yeah. It is definitely the most homoerotic thing that's happened yet. By far.
I love that we get I don't know exactly how his name is pronounced. Judo.
Yeah, I was pronouncing it in my head as judo.
Yeah, he's just on the ledge, like, a lot of energy from these boys.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously just got finished jerking off, so makes sense. Yeah. I mean, me too.
Yeah, then we get like Griffith's backstory about the Beherit.
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really talk about that yet, but we find out he has one, and it's around his neck, and they kind of talk about it here. We got a cool panel on page 58 that just shows nothing but it, which is dope. I really like that panel a lot. And he bought it from a fortune teller a long time ago. Apparently, it's also called the Egg of the King. And it's said that whoever possesses it is destined to obtain the world in exchange for his own flesh and blood.
And then I love how and then the eye fucking opens.
Yeah.
And Griffith is like, it's almost alive. And then she's like,
page 61.
Neat, huh?
Page 61 is so good. Oh, I love that panel that you're talking about right now. It's so good.
I love it, dude. We get full frontal Griffith, except they fucking.
It's weird because I can't tell if that was in drawing. It must be, right? That wasn't like the company taking it out.
No, it's just he doesn't draw those bits.
He wouldn't be able to. Legally in Japan, you can't show genitalia, right? So yeah, okay. Anyways, this is where there's kind of their conversation goes into the fact that Griffith has some more ambition and he wants Guts to gamble his life on his dream with him, basically, for his cause. Yeah. And this is, there's like a lot of these white birds that are kind of drawn in some of these scenes, and I think it's just super cool. There's one where he's glowing from the sun, hitting him.
Yeah, just the shadow.
Yeah,
we get like a little bit of Guts like later just kind of pondering.
Yeah, and then honestly being welcomed in. He's kind of thinking, he gets thrown off into the water by Judo that says, hey, we heard that you're part of the band now, congratulations, or whatever. Then it kind of cuts to like a battle.
I love some of the silly shit here, though, where he's like, where am I going? I still don't have the answer to that question. And then the next panel is him like in the air because someone opened the door.
Yeah.
Threw him in.
It's really, really good. It's also like some of the stuff I cherish because I know it's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
The happy times. But that's it.
Then we just get the start to a battle, and that's...
and then it shows him as like part of their ranks. That's kind of the way it ends, this whole like backstory stuff of him being, he's in. This is the group now.
Yeah.
And him charging in with his sword out on the horse. It's pretty good. That's it. That's what we're going to be talking about for this time. So for next time, chapters 1 to 14 is what we're going to be focusing on for the most part. But all the backstory stuff is done now. Important people are met. And yeah, do you have anything else you want to say before we head off?
Not really, I guess. Just, you know, everybody should be enjoying these nice panels while they can.
It's hard because it's like, I really hope somebody listening to this wants to join along and at least look at the pages as we talk about them, because it's so visually spectacular. It's hard to get across, honestly.
There's definitely like just a super big part of this as to why it sucks me in so much is the visual stuff.
Yeah.
And just, it has like a whole fucking aura to it.
Yeah, it does.
It's very good.
It's very light. So this stuff we talked about feels like watching like medieval knights and armor battles and stuff like that. And it's going to get darker and darker as we go.
Yeah, but we hang out here for a while. I mean, that's why the anime was based on this arc, because it's so palatable compared to the rest of everything.
Compared to what comes, yeah. I was thinking of maybe doing like a visual component for YouTube and just like having panels in the background. But the reason why we're not is because I'm pretty sure I would be hit by copyright so fucking hard.
I don't know how.
Japan's pretty litigious about their works being used like that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bother with any of that stuff. People should pick this stuff up anyways. Honestly, I think this is worth it. If I had the money to like just drop $1,000 on the leather-bound deluxe editions, I would totally do it.
I might start buying them.
Yeah, I've honestly been considering it too, but I don't want to say it aloud in case the girlfriend hears me.
Yeah. See, I'm just constrained because I can't get anything shipped here right now. So
yeah,
someday I'll buy them when I can actually get my hands on them physically.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but digitally works.
It's good shit, and I'm really enjoying going through this again. I'm getting so much more out of it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I guess like also just for future stuff, there is a point I've been told to stop reading, and I'm going to stop at that point this week because I'm going to read more this week. And I will not be reading there's going to be a stretch, I think, where we just do like one or two within a couple days of each other episodes, I mean, because we're going to have a lot to talk about, you said. So maybe just watch out for that.
You're definitely going to hit that. There's, the point where you can't stop and you're not going to stop, and it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, that's about 3 or 4 away still, so I'm not too worried about that yet. But yeah, again, now that we're in normal chapters, it's going to be easy for people listening. If you want to follow along, we're doing chapters 1 to 14. That's Sword Wind to Battle. But yeah, until next time, thank you for listening, and we'll see you then.
Peace.